to our business, yeah, and today we work with reading section, yeah. So can you see the task? Can you see the screen?
Sorry, I'm a bit late.
Yeah, no problem. Okay.
Yes, it's a bit.
For starters, do you understand all the words in the titles?
Yes.
Yes, great. Now let's complete. Yeah, so you've got half a minute to complete that task. So, are you ready?
No.
Not yet. Okay. So you've got 30 seconds left. Okay, so what about text A? What's the best title?
I think the first one.
Do you agree?
A.
Alisa suggests that A should be title 1. Is that right? Well, I guess yes. Can you prove, Alice? Can you prove?
Of course, he is writing that it can teach important life lessons. So sport is for fun, but not just for fun. It's also for life. I don't know.
Okay, excellent. What about B, Toma?
5.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, why?
Because like he talked about the group riding and the rules that are used there, they might be implemented in real life, like in everything.
Okay, absolutely. So what about text C, Alice?
Number 2.
Does everyone agree?
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. Why?
Because running should not be a battle for your body, but rather a rest for your mind.
Okay, great. Toma, what about B?
About Learning from father, probably 7.
Yes, exactly. And what did he learn from his father?
That only practice and determination lead to success.
Like nothing is free, yeah, they say.
Yeah.
Okay, text E.
Number 3.
Why?
Because it unites fans of all ages, genders, and nationalities. Like this baseball.
Okay, absolutely. And F?
Next year we win.
Why?
Why? Because the person writes about like that sport seems not often win, but he is sure that next year will be a good year.
Okay. And G, Alisa?
G is number 8. Was he or she, like this person, swims, and after or before he's okay. Let it be here. His this women lessons. He goes to school, so learning.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, now what's the topic which unites all these texts?
Sport.
Yeah, exactly. It's like sport. So, what do you think about sport? What does sport mean for you?
For me, it's like a big part of my life. The way to make myself better, to reach different goals, to become more like determined, and all this stuff.
Okay. And Alisa, what about you?
Sports is really a big part of my life too, and I absolutely agree with this person from A, and from B too, because these team sports, they make us better in communications, and also sport teaches us to be like I don't know.
Determined.
Yeah.
So like sport is important not only for sport, yeah?
Of course.
Okay, yeah. Well, now let's look at task 2. So it's called, strangely enough for me, high tech brings families together. So before we start, do you agree that this statement is true?
I don't know, not really. Only if you live in one city and your like sister or mother or someone else lives in another place. In this case, it really brings families together. But if family lives like together, so I don't think it's true.
Okay, Toma, what do you think?
Well, I guess it's more like I don't know. That's probably more true than false, because families can really like benefit from high tech through different relationship between family members, and sometimes they are not as pleasant as we wish they be, and sometimes just better to call than to meet in person. And also, as Alisa said, it really helps in distant relationships. So I guess there are like a lot of benefits from high tech.
But don't you think that too much online communication makes you unable to communicate in reality? Don't you feel like when we get together after all this pandemic situation, we won't be able to chat face to face because we have got too used to chatting online?
I guess it won't be a problem because cheating online is pretty similar to cheating in person. And in all the family that are people that you are not choosing, obviously, and sometimes it is difficult to be on the same vibe with them.
Okay, Alice, what do you think?
I don't know. I don't think it's a problem really, because as for me, I communicate with my parents, for example, and it helps me like not to forget how to chat with people like offline.
Okay, well, now let's read through these phrases. Any other difficult words here?
No.
No, great. Now you've got a minute and a half to complete the task then. So, ready? Okay, you've got 30 seconds and then we'll get down to the task. So let's have a look. What about gap A? Instead of driving people apart, mobile phones and the internet are
button is...
No? Any ideas?
We can't see the text. Oh, yeah. It's okay now.
I guess helping them communicate.
Yeah, maybe.
Why? So let's think grammatically.
Grammatically, it's number 6. I can't see anything.
What can it be after are?
It can be like Heron.
It can be either participle 1, yeah, like I am playing, they are playing, yeah, or it can be past participle, like they are impressed, for example, yeah. So have we got past participles here?
Yes, communicated.
Communicated. So does it make sense to say mobile phones and the internet are communicated with their families?
No, not really.
Not really. What would this word there refer to, yeah? To mobile phones, families? Strange, yeah? Okay, now, how many continuous forms have we got?
3. And 2 of them are for people, like watching or owning.
Yes, exactly. So we can't use them. Yeah. And the only one remaining version is helping them communicate. Okay, great job. Now, what about number 2? It found that traditional families have more high-tech gadgets in their home
than any other group.
Why?
Because we have more, and we need to have the second part, like
absolutely,
them,
absolutely. Okay, yeah. The research also found that 58% of the families have more
than 2 computers in their home.
Why?
Because here is also worth more, and we need them.
Yes, it's also like comparison, yeah. But now we don't compare the homes, yeah, we compare families. Next, Toma. Many people use their mobile phone to keep in touch and communicate with parents and children. 70% of couples
Only mobile.
Does everybody agree? Alisa, do you agree?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, why?
Because like it makes sense.
Okay. And what helps us here? The commas, yeah, commas. Commas show us that we need the description of those couples here, right? So, Toma, they now spend less time
watching television.
Alice, do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Why?
Because we need gerund here, and this one is the only Correct.
Mm-hmm. And in addition, if we think about the meaning, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, and the last one, F. Instead, the research found that 52% of internet users who live with their families go online.
In the company of someone else.
Uh-huh. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Why? What helped you decide?
Like the meaning. Someone else is like someone else is, but not their family, and online in the company. Online in the company.
Exactly. Okay. Which fact from this text surprised you most?
I don't know. I have never thought about that. Like in this case, about the statistics.
Yeah, actually, these facts sounds really like reasonable. And there's nothing like very surprising.
Well, I was quite surprised when I read that over half of internet users went online with anyone else. Because, well, at the first sight at least, going online looks like individual activity, doesn't it?
I think it really could be like not individual activity that like depends on your lifestyle. If you have some person to do it together, why not?
Despite the fact that I often go online with my mom, myself, like we often watch funny videos together, you know, and show those to each other. Despite that fact, it was like an unexpected to me that other people do the same thing, you know. Okay. And now we have this huge text, yeah. The joy and enthusiasm of reading. So, obviously this text is going to be about reading, yeah? And before we start, some people say that the joy and enthusiasm of reading is dying out and giving way to the joy and enthusiasm of surfing the net and playing online games. Do you agree with that?
I don't know, maybe. Was like in 20th century and earlier, they haven't anything else except reading books, so it was the only thing that they could do in their personal time when they didn't go to their friends or something else.
Like in their free time, yeah?
Yeah. So and now we have these series, films, video games, and lots of children. They choose not to read books, but to play games. But I don't think that it's really a problem, because there are people who read books now, and it's not dying, I think.
And I know you belong to those people who still read books.
Yeah,
Why?
I do.
What makes you read rather than go online?
I don't know. Just these people in the books, they often have their really interesting story, and I can feel that I'm in their situation when I read a book. So, like, it's it it can be a part of I don't know how to explain, but I like to read. I like reading books because I like these people's stories. Um, their problems, their emotions. It's really interesting, and it can help to understand people around you better, I think.
Okay. What do you reckon, Toma?
I agree. It's like absolutely three different activities that, and as for me, I do pretty all of them, I think, and I can just tell that even though maybe if there wasn't internet there and all the, let's say, the TV series, films, I would spend more time reading. But anyway, it's still a decent activity for me, which I consider.
Okay, and now it's your time to read this text. First, just 30 seconds, very, very quickly, and understand, is the writer pessimistic or optimistic about the future of reading? So do you think he is pessimistic or optimistic?
He's optimistic because he claims that there is no interpretation, of the book, of the even sentence by different people. All of them can interpret it in different ways. So the enthusiasm of reading will never die out, and people will always love it.
Exactly. Okay, now let's have a look at the questions and options. Yeah. So any difficult words?
No.
No. Okay. Now then, you've got some time. Let it be like 5 minutes, yeah, to read through this text and complete the exercise before we start checking that up together. So let's check it up. The unlimited liberty of reading. What does it mean for the narrator?
Number 2.
Number 2. Any other ideas?
No.
No?
It's good, number 2.
Well, what is the key phrase in your opinion? The first one, yeah?
Yeah.
The first part. Okay. Question 2.
Number 3.
Number 3, you think? Initially fostered by Mr. Bexton. Do you agree, Toma?
Yeah.
Can you explain why not number 4?
Because we have part of this has to do. And number 4 is like that before this teacher, he like hated or didn't like reading, and then he this teacher taught him to love reading. But this is not about that. Part of this is a key.
So we have this keyword, it's all due to the efforts, yeah? But here we have part of this, yeah? Okay, good
like,
job.
I think 4 fosters is better there than due to the efforts. Like, of course, he did his efforts, but it was much more like intentional study.
Okay, good. Well, what about 14? When choosing a guest house, why was the narrator worried? Alice.
I don't know. I didn't find it, actually.
Toma?
Actually, and I'm also a little lost about the guest house.
Oh.
I guess it's like maybe from another text.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, I'm awfully sorry. I'm awfully sorry. Okay. So, well, I think I'll have to ask you some more questions myself, but before that, let's go back to this question 12 once again. Are you sure?
Yes.
But what is here in this extract about interpreting?
Like making up my own mind and so on, agreeing or disagreeing, so you can like think about the sense.
Actually, look at this. Picking out the first thing that strikes me. Doesn't it feel like the opportunity to select what to read according to the mood?
I thought about it, but I'm not sure that like the first thing that strikes you like depends on the mood, because there are things that that you really like in like very mood, the things that you are obsessed with, and etc. I don't think, for instance, if you feel like if you are in a bad mood, you can like be let's say unpleasant with the good book, the really good book which you would like in a good mood.
Okay, maybe. Right, now a few more questions. So what did Mr. Buxton and Mr. Flanders have in common?
Who and who, can you repeat?
What do Mr. Flanders and Mr. Buxton have in common? Mr. Flanders and Mr. Buxton.
Two teachers, I guess.
So
they both like let this guy to have his own attitude, his own thoughts on the literature, which was studied by Mr. Buxton, and history by Mr. Flanders. So he can like make his own decisions both in history and in literature.
Okay, so unfortunately we have less than 1 minute left. So do you think this is the right attitude to literature and history?
Definitely, because you always have to